What's going on, guys? This is Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ back in for another great episode. Today's episode is Stardom, Sit 'em, Week 14, people. Playoffs, do or die. Decisions need to be crisp. Don't get cute. Don't make dumb decisions, people. We are here. You made it to the playoffs. Congratulations. Do not be a first-round knockout. I got the Stardom, Sit 'em, Week 14. I do not want to waste any more time, so let's get right into the episode. So, Stardom, Sit 'em, Week 14, people. This is do or die. First round of the playoffs. Probably have some questions of who you should start, who you should sit. You clicked on the video, you've seen the face, you know why you're here. Stardom, Sit 'em. First one I got is Wayne Gallman, man, going against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we saw my boy Cam Akers go off. He had a nice game, had a solid game on 20 touches, put up 94 yards of total scrimmage yards, and I definitely like Wayne Gallman based on week 6, has been very consistent, has been very solid as a nice RB2 and then RB1 some weeks as well. I know the Giants O-line is trash. I know the Giants is a bad team, but they got some momentum coming off of beating the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you, by the way. Shout out to the Giants fans. Shout out to Jersey. I say Jersey because they're playing in Jersey, so I call them the Jersey Giants. But anyway, whack-ass joke. But anyway, like I said, Wayne Gallman has been very consistent, has been very steady at giving you nice fantasy points week to week. I definitely like the matchup. Arizona Cardinals are going to have a very, struggle game because you saw what they did to Russell Wilson with that, zone scrimmage, that zone scheme or whatever the case may be. They had Russell Wilson looking crazy. So I definitely expect the same for Kyler, and I definitely think they have momentum. I think they're going to be hyped up. Wayne Gallman could see the end zone a couple times, and that can help you guys to bring home the gold in the round 1 of the playoffs, people. So it's a full send on Wayne Gallman. Next up, I got Corey Davis going against Jacksonville. Man, oh man, did he blow up last week. And then the week before that, he put up a donut. It was kind of weird. But anyway, he put up the most fantasy points in his career, 35 points. And that is a whopping 35 points over A.J. Brown. I got to throw that in because it does not matter what it looks like if A.J. Brown is playing or if he's not playing. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter either way. Corey Davis is going to produce. He's going to get the ball. He has a great catch rate. He has a very good true catch rate. So I definitely like Corey Davis in the playoffs going against Jacksonville. This should be a no-brainer, people. I definitely like the consistency. All season, man, he's been finding a way to put up the double-digit points. It hasn't been like, he's been putting up duds this week, that week, or not. He put up a dud one week. He had probably, some shit going on, I'm sorry to hear that he lost his brother to cancer, a couple of weeks back. That could be playing a factor in the situation as well. But again, in the playoffs, I definitely like Corey Davis. I definitely want him involved in my roster as a wide receiver 2 or the flex. I definitely love the matchup. Jacksonville defense has been very mediocre all season. The whole team has been trash all season. So I definitely like this matchup for Corey Davis. So it's definitely a full send, people. Next up, I got to throw my boy in there. Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. He's been the most consistent fucking wide receiver all season, people. Even if Jared Goff is having a bad game, the last 3 games, he's been putting up double-digit targets, people. He's been the most, consistent wide receiver, I think, the last 2-3 years, people. So I think this is an obvious start. I cannot sit him for any reason going into the playoffs at all. He needs to be involved in my roster. He needs to be out there because, again, it doesn't matter if Jared Goff played good or not. Robert Woods is going to find a way to get involved. He's definitely going to be able to rush the ball. He's very, versatile. He's been moved all around the whole entire scheme of the position. So I definitely think he needs to be involved because he's definitely going to have snap opportunity. He's going to have opportunity in the red zone, etc. So you're probably thinking Cooper Kupp, but it does not matter, man. When they both get going, where they're both getting double-digit targets, I definitely want, one of them involved in my starting lineup. So they have New England, come Thursday, the first round of the playoffs. Not really too scared or worried about New England's defense like that. You know what I mean? Now, Stephon Gilmore, he has to cover Robert Woods or he has to cover Kupp. He has to choose, you know what I mean? So, again, when they're both getting, the rhythm and they're getting momentum and they're both getting the targets, volume is key here, people. And I'm going to stick with the volume. And I'm going to put my money on Robert Woods this week to help you guys bring home the gold. For week 1 of the playoffs, people, is do or die. So I'm definitely putting my trust in my boy, my Ram, Robert Woods, full send. Next up, let's get to the sit-em people. These are guys that are going to shit the bed and possibly knock you out in the first round. They're not going to help you bring home the gold, people. So first up, I got D.j Chark. Now, D.j Chark has not been relevant for fantasy since week 9. The constant, wishy-washy QB changes or the QB play or whatever, it's been very mediocre. The team has just been looking terrible. Nothing above average that we have gotten from D.j Chark since week 9. And I'm very disappointed in that. I thought this would be his year. He's on a ton of my rosters. I definitely thought this would be the year we can get a top 15, a top 10 out of D.j Chark. But again, we haven't seen much out of him since week 9. And it's not something that I really want to roll the dice on, first round of the playoffs. I'm very gassy today. I'm so sorry, but I had to get that out. But again, I can't roll the dice on D.j Chark in week 1, the playoffs. I definitely don't like the matchup at all. I definitely don't like how I have to lean on D.j Chark in some of my leagues because I'm dealing with injury or I'm dealing with COVID or guys that I just were underperforming. So he's one of those guys that I hate to have on my roster right now, to have these questions, to have these bench warmers, because I know for a fact he's not going to produce, people, and that's the issue here. I definitely do not like the matchup. Right now, the matchup is against Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is a lot better than a lot of people think, and I definitely think they're going to be able to lock him up. They're going to be able to, find a way to get D.j Chark out of the game. So again, we saw D.j Chark last week at 7 targets. He only caught 2. Not saying that every target was catchable, but he only caught 2. That is not something I need to roll the dice in my starting lineup for week 1 of the playoffs, people. So D.j Chark, you get the bench. Next up, man, this is very painful. D.J Swift, man, he is getting to bench. He's dealing with illness, coming from a non-COVID illness. He's been out back-to-back games. They're saying that he's trending to come back, this week against the Packers, but will be limited. That is not something I need to see on the report on a Wednesday right now, people. I know we have until Friday to figure out what's going on with Swift, but I do not like to roll the dice on guys that are coming off an injury, who are still dealing with injury of the game, the week of the game. So I definitely don't like this matchup against the Packers, for a limited running back, where AP back-to-back weeks has found the end zone twice last week, and put up fantasy relevant points. So I'd rather load up the Jets on AP. I definitely do not like Swift coming from illness, who's dealing with a concussion injury, etc. I do not like the limited word. I do not like, he'll probably get like 8 touches that game. And that is going to be disgusting to have him in your starting lineup in the first round of the playoffs. Again, I could be wrong. He could be fine. He could just be, slowly trending towards be able to play. But again, we cannot roll the dice on guys that are injured. We cannot put them into our starting lineups and be confident in saying, oh, this is start and forget, when it's not. You know what I mean? Because, again, new coach, not new coach, but the interim coach or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. Matt Patricia is gone. He's been fired. So I think the temporary coach likes AP. He's been running the ball very well. He's been looking like, I won't say prime AP, but just a better, younger version of AP, where he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. He's getting those ugly 4 yards here and there, and he's also finding the end zone. So why slow down the old man? Why take him out of the game for maybe a limited D.J Swift? That I just do not understand the logic behind that. So I do not need D.J Swift in my starting lineup based on, we don't know how involved he's going to be. The matchup is great. Packers suck at stopping the run. That's why I think this benefits AP more than it benefits Swift, who's going to be limited. He's still dealing with illness. He has the concussion, all this other shit, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'll load up AP before I load up Swift this week. So hopefully you do the same. Hopefully you have other options other than AP. But if you're hurting that running back and AP's there, why not, man? Go roll the dice on AP, but do not roll the dice on D.J Swift. Next up, we got Devin Singletary, who's been mid-tier this entire season, man. He's been, below average. He's just been, not as great as we thought he would be. Even with Zach Moss injured or not involved, or, he had the fumble last week. We didn't see Zach Moss, after that. Devin Singletary has been very mid-tier all season, and I think that's all we're going to get out of him. Like I said, it doesn't matter really if Zach Moss is there or not. We're just going to get mid-tier numbers from Devin Singletary. Even when he's like the 1A of that situation, we should see more than like 8.6 points, 10 points from him, when he wants to do that. You know what I mean? So He's not a guy that's getting max touches. He's not a guy that I'm recommend putting in your starting lineup going against Pittsburgh, who's been very locked down on the run, who's been getting pressure on the quarterback, who's been just doing it all on the defense. So I definitely do not like this matchup against Pittsburgh in the first round of the playoffs. These are not guys that I'm confident in and putting them in my flex position when I have other guys floating around out there. See, I honestly rather put Cam Akers in, before I shoot out a Devin Singletary, because I see the growth. I see the, the climb and increasement of week to week in their, fantasy points. Devin Singletary has just been just straight mid-tier or just below. So these are not, the chances I want to take with Devin Singletary, even though he is the 1A in that situation. It just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it. Zach Moss is still getting those red zone looks. He's still getting those red zone, touches. So that's where we really want Devin Singletary to be involved, and it's just not happening. I mean, he's getting targets out of the backfield like 2 to 3, but that's nothing crazy. So is Zach Moss. So it's not like we're seeing anything different. We're not seeing one running back has this role. We're not seeing that the other running back has that role as the pass catcher or the pure runner. That's not what we're seeing here. It's just a mixture of a clusterfuck. And, we're not getting a good, week-to-week base of where we can say Singletary can be a nice flex this week. And week-to-week, he could be a nice flex or running back too against this matchup, because it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He put up nothing, basically when Zach Moss was injured. And I think that's all we're going to get from, these next 3 weeks of the playoffs. So Devin Singletary, you definitely get the bench, man, against Pittsburgh. So that wraps up another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. This was Stardom, Sit-em, Week 14. It's do or die, people. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave a comment below on your Stardom Sit-em questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. It's playoffs, people. Again, do not get cute. This is where decisions and this is where champions are made, people. So you definitely need to make the right decisions. You cannot get cute, people. So I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you win your first round playoff game, and then you come back here for week 15. And, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.